Hey everyone, welcome to the next episode of Sass and the Beard. How's it going, Kristen?
Man, it's going. I just came from the school board meeting.
Yeah?
I had to make a quick stop at Fat Daddy's for an entertainment district beverage.
Okay.
Because y'all know I'm not as funny.
Right.
And
because this is what happens when the government actually listens to its constituents.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Just making sure that was part of the thing.
Or
because we
when-
talk a lot about times when the government doesn't listen to its constituents, and
That's
regularly, like how, like maybe there would be less frustration with government if government would listen to its constituents.
Crazy concept.
I know, right?
I don't think that's right.
Like you get elected.
That cannot be right.
Like people say, I'm going to do this when I get in office, and then they proceed to like not do that they said they would
Say
do.
it isn't so.
Yeah. Or even like talk about it. Or even like ask other people to consider it.
Well, this is a good segue into kind of what the school board meeting was about tonight.
Oh, yeah,
we're going to talk about
you
school
went,
board.
yeah.
We're going to talk about ballot initiatives, casino, all of that tonight. But and even about the different things that the state legislature is trying to defund, which is a variety, a
Puppies.
wide list. The puppies are next.
They want to
Watch
get
out.
rid of puppies.
They're going to defund puppies. But we'll get to that later. So tonight I went to the school board meeting because Russellville School Board recently passed a policy that'll have the school district pouch. They keep calling it like pouch your phone. You'll pouch
Right.
and unpouch
You
your
just
phone.
pouch your phone.
Pouch your phone. Well, because we already had a cell phone free classroom.
Right. There is a policy
Like,
with
that already
RSD
existed.
that says no,
But
no
now-
cell phones in class.
But now not just no cell phones in class. Now cell phones must be on airplane mode and in a pouch.
Yes, the Yonder pouches, the company Yonder does. They started as a company that were like phone-free concerts, and so like you would have to put your
Right.
phone so that you didn't take video and post it
Yeah,
online.
I've been to an
Yeah.
event like that, like out
Yeah.
of state, where like if you go to a theater production, you're supposed to put your phone off, like you're not supposed to
Right.
take pictures or video during a play. I
Right.
mean, that's just like common courtesy.
Right.
But yeah, so some people who are doing like filming Netflix specials for comedy shows, things like that, like they use these pouches to like keep people from leaking their
Right,
material,
because
right?
it's supposed to, it's coming out on this service. Yeah,
Right, but it's also a thing where you can't like they can't confiscate your phone, right?
Because personal property laws
Right,
exist.
privacy,
Yeah.
and who the hell's gonna be like, yeah, sure, just take my phone, throw it in a pile with 300 other ones, and I'll figure it out later. Like, mine's the only one with the black case. It's fine. But so they're bringing these Yonder pouches to school districts across the state, not just Russellville. This is a growing trend, not just in Arkansas, across the country.
Right.
I mean, a lot of this is based on a book called The Anxious Generation, which I call bullshit on a lot of things in this book, but it has been a compelling interest for people because it talks a lot about the concerns that I think every parent today shares.
It's
about,
a kind of a common sense.
Right.
The frustration that I've seen with the data behind that book is that he takes it a little more strongly than the data suggests.
Yeah.
However, the commentary I've seen about the book, even from people who don't support his consensus of the data, say these are just common sense principles that everyone should use in their own personal life with social media and kids with phones.
But so tonight there was a special called school board meeting because the school board had already approved moving to this policy, right?
Yeah.
But they haven't really created a handbook for how it's going to be implemented, when the consequences will be, how it's going to be handled for extracurricular activities, things like that, right? So those things were being discussed tonight at the school board meeting. And you made a post earlier that I think was a really gracious and eloquent way of saying this. Me, I'm just do I need to show you a map of where you got me fucked up? Because where I can tell you,
and that's our two personalities.
Yes. And so the beard also means nice. But so went to the school board meeting, and I got there just maybe 2 minutes before it was supposed to start at 4:30 because everybody's free at 4:30 in the afternoon.
Absolutely, yeah. That's
totally.
That's the most perfect time to have a meeting.
But this school board meeting, which normally nobody cares about, nobody's really attending,
right,
is packed with people. Parents showed up.
These cell phone policies have gotten people fired up.
Well, and the thing that's interesting about it is people. Nobody is I just want my kid to be able to be on their cell phone whenever they want because I don't give a shit if it disrupts education. Nobody's saying
I need
that.
to ask them how their day is doing at 9:27.
Right, I'm going to need to send them a meme.
Yeah.
And I don't care about your classroom. Like, nobody is saying that, right?
No.
Like, the argument is really around, is it worth, one, all this money to spend on these pouches, even if it's coming from state funding, which I can understand the district is taking an opportunity to use state funding instead of their in-district, like, budget to implement this while they can, because the state's made it very clear they're moving towards this. So I don't fault the school district for doing this in the way that's going to be the most economically advantageous to them, right? Like that all makes sense. The problem I have is the rollout, right? And it makes me so frustrated because I hear all the time that school board members and the administration of Russellville School District are like, why can't y'all just be supportive? Why do you have to just be so down on everything? Like, why? Like, these are just people who hate everything that we do. And that's really not the case. Like, the problem that I see, and you can probably speak to this better than me, Nathan, and I'll quit talking and hand it over to you here in a second, but not yet. Because the problem that I see is this meeting tonight was a perfect example. That room had 40 chairs in it. It's a big room. And, like, I've been packed into these conference rooms for Russellville School Board during COVID in rooms that were packed tighter than this.
Yeah.
But for this one, you know, they absolutely could not let people stand around the back. They couldn't do it. So people are like sitting on this huge cafeteria that has tons of seating, tons of opportunity for people to sit and listen to what's happening with their local government. And the school board's like, nah, we gave half these chairs to people who work for the district. And if you're lucky, you might get a chair. And if you aren't, then I'm sorry about your luck, right? And then they wonder why people feel like the district isn't really that invested in hearing from the public.
Well, and I remember a time where, like, you could go to the school board meeting in an auditorium where there were hundreds of chairs. They would live stream video the school board meetings. They won't allow, like, why aren't, okay, this is beside the point, but I just want, this is my, like, little complaint. Why are they not allowing the broadcast team that is at the school that has all the equipment to, I'm not talking to the broadcast, like, but it just seems like an easy fix so that we can all watch the school board meetings if we can't go, instead of potentially being able to listen to a recording the next day.
Yeah.
And so, but what I want to say, the reason that I said what I said is that there are times as an elected official when you are governed by an upper body. So like the school board really has to kind of do what the state of Arkansas says. And if the state of Arkansas says in the Department of Education, like, we're going to roll out this policy, then the school board has to do it. Now, the Russellville School District has been blessed to be a part of some really good, popular pilot programs, and they get money for being part of those programs, not just money for the program, but sometimes additional funds. And so whenever there is a pilot program, a lot of times the Department of Education will ask Russellville to be a part of this pilot program. So I'm not upset. Like, kids don't need to be using their phones. Like, someone commented on our video, like, left and right agree that, like, kids don't need their phones at school. Nobody's arguing that they need their phone at school. Like, that's not, like, that they need to be able to use their phone during class.
In class. Like, nobody's arguing.
Nobody's arguing that. Yeah.
Being distracted, right? Or like being disruptive.
Yeah.
Nobody.
We are not. I don't
think any parents are saying that that's what they want, is for, like, let's disrupt the learning environment.
No. And so the governor of Arkansas said, mental health is a concern that we have here in Arkansas. So to fix that problem, we're going to take away phones from kids at school. Full stop. Like, she didn't say we're going to make sure that every school has a mental health counselor professional, a mental health professional, or even a nurse, or at every school in the district. We're going to give money to this company to buy these little pouches to put your phones in, and that's going to fix the kids' mental health issues.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, and that's the thing. The thing that kills me is like you hear that rhetoric from the state level,
right?
But then when you get down to the school board level, nobody is talking about mental health. That's not what
they're just like
about.
The teachers can't get the kids to put their phones down.
And even at the meeting tonight, they're like, "Oh, we can't let the kids have their phones during athletics because if somebody were to accidentally take a picture in the locker room, it could be child porn."
They're filming fights in locker rooms and bathrooms and posting them on Instagram, and nothing's happening.
And that's part of the but let's ban phones.
I agree.
Because if the phones weren't there, it wouldn't be a problem.
But like they're not doing anything about it anyways.
But
like,
the problem goes away if we don't know about it.
And when I say they, I mean I'm not saying the school board. I mean proverbial they.
And so this is something every school, every district, every educational is dealing with this issue, right?
All over the country, they're having these problems. COVID really just did a number on our systems, and that's what all this is about.
And here's the other thing: is like they talk about this as kids are addicted to their phones, right? Look, agree. Look, I don't even talk about it.
What are you watching this video on?
But here's the thing about it for me: it's like, okay, if you believe that is true. There is a lot of research out there on and evidence on how to deal with an addiction.
Yes,
right.
And
I have yet to find the study that says if you take the drugs away while they're at work, but give them back at the end of the day, it will fix it.
Well, and what I said,
where's the study when you clock out at 5 and they give you back your meth and everything's okay? Because
that's what I said on my post was like we've started a war on drugs, we've started a war on other things, and that definitely didn't fix the problem. Like we have to get at the root of the issue with this phone addiction. Most adults have issues with regulating their own cell phone internet usage through this device. Look, everyone gets a report. If you have an iPhone, you get a report every Sunday.
That screen time alert is an attack.
And I would guarantee that the large percentage of, especially anyone watching this on any platform, that it's over 5 hours.
Look,
guaranteed a day.
I have dealt with that particular notification, much like the school plans to deal with cell phones, by just locking it away. Just locking it away and not looking at it. And that has dealt with that problem. My screen time is no longer an issue because we have locked it away.
Right. And so my point in this is, we can all agree that this is a problem. We can all agree that there might be ways to solve this problem that are efficient and less expensive, but don't lie and say that it's about mental health for kids when kids don't have good nutrition at schools, kids don't have health care at schools, they don't have mental health care at schools, they don't even have all the supplies they need to do the things that they need to do at some schools.
When we're rolling out policy to kick kids off of Medicaid so that they don't have access to health insurance
or make them able to go work at 13,
right?
A full-time job.
Don't speak to me about their mental health. Right?
How's their mental health going to be when their hand gets smashed at some factory? Because
if
they had to go
and they can go out and catch chickens at night after school, they can also have a cell phone.
I'm pretty sure their mental health going to have some PTSD about chickens. I guarantee you. Because I, as a 13, 14-year-old, used to have to catch dead chickens in a barn, okay? And carry them in a bucket. And let me tell you, that's a very not fun thing to do.
That explains a lot.
Yeah.
Explains a lot.
Yeah.
So,
I said have to. I didn't have to do that. I had a friend who had chicken houses, and over the summers, that's what we would do. I got paid to do it, but I didn't get paid $27 an hour to do it.
Oh. So, okay, the last thing I want to say on this issue with the school board is, because I know they watch this shit. They may not want to admit it, but I know they watch.
We can see when you log in.
We know you watch. Is what we are saying to you, what we do here is not to beat you up. Like us telling people about issues that are going on or disagreeing with a policy really is not to beat you up. But you have got to remember that y'all came into this role after our community had lost trust. Right? When Dr. Gocher was fired, trust was broken in this community. And that's not your fault. You didn't do it. Nobody on this board voted to fire Dr. Gocher.
Right.
And Dr. McDonald had nothing to do with that either, right? She's coming in and doing her job that she was hired to do. Agree with it or don't. The problem here is not trying to implement a policy that restricts phone access during class. That is not the problem here. The problem here is a continual just disregard for the lack of public trust and refusal to deal with it.
Yes.
The refusal to deal with it is what keeps you in this situation, right? Like, yes, I know that the policy is that if you want to speak to the school board, you've got to reach out to the superintendent 28 business days in advance to get on the agenda. Not 28, not really. It's like 5. But
I was like, for real?
28 business, well, whatever.
Damn.
3 business days, 5 business days, whatever it is. You have this policy, but then you don't release the agenda until the day before the meeting. So the message that gets sent is that you don't want to hear from people. When you say the only way to get on the agenda is to reach out in advance, but you don't release the agenda in advance, the message is don't contact us. We don't want to speak to you. And your job that you competed, that you ran for election, you competed to have this job that is unpaid. Mind you, they are not getting rich off of this. Be nice to them.
Yes.
They are unpaid. But you ran for this position, and that means that you have a responsibility to help rebuild trust in this community. And that is not going to happen overnight. And we're not just going to let you off easy because you're not the ones that fired them. People have expectations of their government that you are going to listen, you're going to hear them, and you're going to make an informed decision. And that does not happen when you roll shit out and say, oops, we already ordered the pouches before we had the meeting.
I do want to say something, like, again, it seems like we are saying that we are in opposition to what is a problem in schools and a solution to fix that problem. So regardless of what the solution, like if you think that they should just enforce the policy that they already have in existence, or if you think that the pouches are okay, like that, we're not arguing that. Like, personally, I'm not upset about the pouches. If they can't get kids to get off their, like, teachers shouldn't have to be the phone police. Like, they have a lot to do. My wife is a teacher, and if this makes her life easier, I'm for it. However, like, the problem is not that they're doing this. The problem is that there was no preconceived, like, we didn't say 2 months ago, we want to do this because we want to be a part of this program, and we think, you know, that if we do this, we'll get a whole year for free and we'll save money in the future, and all of these reasons. It's not good for kids to be on their phones in class. It's not good for teachers to have to be the phone police. There was none of that. It was literally a letter came home and said, we're doing this.
Well, and when it's obvious that you've already made the decision before you make it public, when you start to discuss the issue and you know it's something the district is going to start moving towards, start having those conversations then.
Yep.
Like, that is how you avoid losing your next election. That's how you avoid being one term.
Like, just take the trash. Like, again, I am, for those of you watching that have never seen this before, I'm a city council member with the city of Russellville, and we recently had an issue with our trash vendor, the citywide residential trash vendor. And for the last year and some odd months, we have been having meetings. We've had, like, public meetings where people can come and tell us, here, call this number and text this number if you have issues with your trash. And we've worked with the company that was picking up our trash until they didn't do anything that we needed them to do in the time that we needed them to do that. And we started looking for a new vendor, and we got, like, different people come and say, well, we like this trash vendor, and we like this trash. And then we put out bids. Like, it was this whole ordeal. It was not we're going to make this decision right now because we have to have it. And I get that the school board exists under different rules maybe than we do, but the city of Russellville had similar trust issues, I think, before, like, several of us that are elected now or on. And yes, there are still some issues and trust issues, but, like, you have to go at those issues and say, like, hey, I'm here. Like, tell me about it. What can I do? This is my decision, and this is why I make this decision. Like, that's all people want to know.
And don't take every, like, ass chewing so personally.
She chews my ass all the time.
If you guys knew how many times I've told Nathan he's wrong, Like, we're on the same side. And I'm like, that's stupid all the time.
But
it's not personal.
She doesn't have to do that work. You know what I mean? Like, as an elected official, I understand, like people come to her with a problem and she gets to help them immediately. Sometimes I can't. I'm in government, so sometimes I can't help them immediately. But I can listen to their concerns. I can tell them what I'm doing. Like, I talked to so-and-so, or I did this, or I did that. But, like, government doesn't move. That's why this is so frustrating, is that they literally just made the decision. And government's not supposed to work that fast.
Look, and don't be out here telling people that I can help immediately. Don't message me with your problems. I can't. I don't want help.
She can help you immediately.
I don't want to. It's not that I can't. I don't want to. I will tell, look, y'all send stuff in sometimes and you're like, somebody needs to call me and I'll take a screenshot, send it to Nathan, and be like, that's all you.
That's a city thing. And I'm
that's all. No, it's not even a city thing. It's
some
just
other county.
It's about Sass in the Beard, but it's his problem. It is absolutely his problem. So, okay, other things that have been going on. Let's talk about the casino, because there has been some weird developments in the casino. This is crazy, y'all. So the Attorney General, y'all.
Wait, are we going to talk about how, like, the anti-casino people are now pro-abortion?
Okay. Oh, it's gotten so much better than this. It's gotten so much better than this. Okay, so the Attorney General put out a video last week basically saying, like, let me explain that there are two different statutes that are governing these issues that are holding up ballot initiatives. And initially, they had been like, okay, casino, good to go, certified for the ballot. Medical marijuana, you need to get more signatures, you have a cure period. Abortion what? We don't know anything.
Abortion's done. We don't even worry about that.
Wait, what? Who are we? Somebody filed an abortion amendment? Like, that's kind of how that's been handled. But so the local casino group, the anti-casino group, I should say, that's, kind of originated out of the First Baptist Church here. So yeah, they filed a motion to intervene on behalf, like, in support of the abortion amendment, not because they are ideologically supporting it,
but because they are issues.
The way the state is arguing is it could disqualify everybody.
Right.
But but here's the thing that's happened since then that's crazy, Nathan, is when they filed that motion to intervene, they filed some, like, statements, some, legal, like, paperwork that they're swearing before the court are facts that they're contributing to this case, right? Well, in that...
Facts are facts. They are. Facts are facts.
You know what?
That's what somebody said.
In the last few years, apparently, that's become a debate. But anyways, so they filed this, and so when Attorney General Tim Griffin was doing his video kind of explaining these different pieces, he was like, so initially we didn't know if the anti-casino group had followed it or not, but when they filed in the abortion case, they confirmed to us they confirmed to the court in that filing that, they actually did screw up. And so none of their signatures should be considered valid, basically. Gosh. But also, because they had already certified it for the ballot,
it's going to be on the ballot.
There's no takesy-backsy, right? Like, so what happens then at that point is the court will have to say, okay, yeah, it's on the ballot, but we're not going to count the signatures. Is most likely what's going to happen. Because so tomorrow,
so that they don't have to allow the abortion amendment, they're also not going to allow the
and what this really comes down to is it's so crazy because what this comes down to is do you remember when we went to when the casino issue went to court to, like, fight out the meaning of the word "the"? Okay, well, now they're fighting about the meaning of the word "sponsor," right? And so there are two different sides to this. If you're going to run a ballot initiative, you have to create a ballot question committee to account for spending, right? Because this is all public record. Money you receive and how you spend it is, on political activity to support or oppose an initiative is all public record.
Right.
But then the sponsor, is that anyone who's on that ballot question committee?
Or is it like an official?
Is it one individual person? And if it is one individual person, why do you even need a ballot question committee? Because that one individual person is legally responsible for everything anyway. Mm-hmm. But what they argued is that, and this has been common practice for a long time. This was not something that
it's not something they added to make it harder,
and it's not something the Casino Initiative did incorrectly from how they've always done it,
right?
From how everybody's always done it, is they turned in their when you hire canvassers, you have to turn their name into the Secretary of State's office saying that they've had a background check, they've received a copy of the handbook, they understand certain things. Like you have to turn all that in, right?
Right.
Well, the law says that the sponsor will provide that. But it's always been allowed that, like, a canvassing company could send that in, right?
Right.
Because one person...
Because they're working for the sponsor.
Right. One person is not capable of handling every single piece of this, right? Yeah. But that's what they're arguing, is that because the law actually says sponsor and not, like, a representative of the sponsor, that none of those signatures would be valid for any initiative, which would be probably the first time I don't even know how long, but very, very long, that the only ballot initiative that would end up on the ballot this year, if that's the case, is a legislatively referred amendment. Not a single initiative brought by the people, which is crazy. I mean,
but that's what they wanted in anyway. Like,
that's exactly what they wanted.
The Republican legislature wanted that to be the case. Yes. They did not want any citizen-led initiatives.
So, what I think we're going to see is most likely, which we don't know this yet, this is still to be determined by the courts, it's all in the hands of the courts at this point, is most likely we will see the Casino Initiative on the ballot, but it's very likely that the court will rule that votes are not counted. Right? And this happens. This is an Arkansas thing. It's very common.
Yeah. Like we've seen that happen with several initiatives. They let them go through the curing period, or they let them do all these things, and then we printed the ballots, but we're just not going to count the votes.
Well, and that's partly just because like tomorrow is the deadline to certify everything that's going to be on the ballot, so that they can start printing them. Right. Because we are literally like 75 days from the election. Like,
imagine a world where you could like literally just change a digital ballot and boop and wouldn't need a deadline.
Calm down.
A month and a half.
Calm down.
Yeah.
That's not acceptable, sir. We shan't be doing that.
Nope.
So anyways, that's where it's at. So like it's crazy to me that but the thing that's interesting is that because they certified it and then realized after the fact, like, whoopsie, we messed up. They can't, it's too late. There's no mechanism to take it back.
Yeah. They can't go back. No take backsies.
No take.
Well, so you think it would be like a long court battle, or you think they'll decide rather quickly because like shovels in the ground for the casino are of utmost importance in our like.
I can tell you that they will probably decide before November 5th.
Cool.
That's election day. So I think we will have a decision on whether this initiative is on the ballot.
Because if it's not on the ballot, like there's really nothing.
I think it's too late. It's going to be on the ballot. Like it's.
If they're not counting the votes?
But counting the votes is what'll matter, which is always really confusing to people. I hate when that happens because most people don't know that this stuff is going on. So, anyways, that's up. But another really fun thing that's happened in state politics this week. Here's what I want to know. Okay, so this calendar year so far, we're 8 months in?
Yes, and August is the 8th month.
The Arkansas legislature at this point, good job, sir. Facts are facts.
Facts are facts.
The Arkansas legislature at this point has tried to defund the Game and Fish Commission. PBS.
Like, who wants to defund PBS? Like, come on.
Which is, does our emergency broadcast.
Sesame Street.
Yeah. And also the emergency broadcast system for Arkansas is through PBS,
Miss Frizzle, okay?
If you would like to know when the nuclear...
Mr. Rogers is on PBS.
If you would like to know if the nuclear plant melts down, we need PBS. But also...
Have y'all seen Fallout?
But PBS will save us. Don't argue with me about that.
Okay.
But anyways, okay, so we're counting. They've tried to defund Game and Fish. They've tried to defund PBS. And now they're trying to defund public defenders.
Because those, okay, all right, listen, I'm pretty sure you can find a, necessity of a public defender in the, United States Constitution. I'm sure that's in an amendment somewhere where it's due process, and so like you could argue, not saying that it's specifically in the Constitution, but like part of due process is you need someone to represent you legally.
It was hilarious because they were like, okay, so this is crazy. People are not getting public defenders, and that means they are sitting in jail, up to like 18 months waiting to go to trial with no public defender, and you're asking for more money for public defenders. It's like they came so close to the point. It was like the point's right here, but we're not going to touch it.
The point is, we want to get people out of jail, or at least get them to trial.
Or, give them their due process rights under the Constitution.
Because it's their right as citizens of this country and state of Arkansas. But we don't have, ain't nobody got time for that.
So my prediction is the next thing on the list, puppies. I think they're going to defund puppies. I think that's the next thing. Because if we're picking things that people love and we want to just kill them, let's go with hunting and fishing in Arkansas. PBS.
That's like, we're the freaking natural state.
PBS.
How are we going to get rid of game and fish? Like, that's literally hunting and fishing in the natural state.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
But we have yonder pouches. Hey.
Y'all, they want to get rid of Big Bird. And Daniel freaking Tiger.
Now, you want me to tell you why they want to get rid of PBS?
I got to take a deep breath and count to 4. Hang on.
Blow out your candles. That's what you used to tell I said.
Smell flowers.
Do y'all know that? Like my son, he gets to be like, okay.
Oh, Brian. Thank you, Brian. Sixth Amendment. To have assistance of counsel for his defense. But only his. What's the definition of... I'm sorry. I'm on one right now. This is crazy. Okay. Wait. Yeah, go ahead.
Let me tell you why they really want to defund PBS. Because I had the most amazing experience with PBS recently that I've ever had in my political career. I emailed them and I said, hey, the state election commission meets every month. And, like, there's no live stream. And you guys live stream, like, the racing commission meeting and, like, all these others. Like, what do I have to do to ask you guys to live stream the state election commission? And literally 45 minutes later, they came back and said, you just did it. We'll be there next month.
What?
Like, it was amazing.
Way to go, PBS. Good job.
Shout out to PBS. And so that's the reason. Like, that's the real reason.
Yes.
If we want to talk about it. Was like tonight. I'm there at the school board meeting, and people are like, why don't they? I don't understand why they can't try to let us in. And I'm like, you really can't understand it? You really don't see it?
Right.
Like I hear you saying you don't see it, but I feel like we all see it.
Right. Like, it's not that hard to figure out that, like, again, when I started getting involved in political life, like, had a lot of old white dudes tell me that they were concerned about me getting elected because, like, I wore a beanie, I had long hair, I was, like, not as, put together as it seems like I might be.
You weren't hanging out with me as much.
That is true. And so, like...
Wait, I think that's how the opposite.
But I didn't, like... It wasn't like I was a boogeyman. But the biggest issue was they were afraid that somebody cared enough to be involved. Because it was like, oh, now we're going to have problems because the way we've been doing things, we can't just keep doing it that way. And I like this generational problem with, like, we're doing it this way, shut up and let us do it.
That don't work anymore.
And we're like, no, like, we see it. We can watch it. Like, I literally can see it on these devices. Unless you take them away from us.
But yeah, they're going to be like, we have certain parents that we need to lock up their phone in yonder pouches. They'll be like sending them home for being Nathan. Like, these are your yonder pouches. Please put your phones there and never take them out. Permanent yonder pouches.
But hey, all the time we get berated for not having good news. Okay? So an anonymous donor donated like $45,000 to the Russellville School District to back pay all of the unpaid lunch balances. Again.
Which is a lovely thing for
someone. Was a great thing for somebody to do.
Incredible thing for someone to do.
Imagine if we lived in a world where, like, we used some tax money to pay for those lunches and no one would need, like, we could all be a part of this great thing. Like, I saw so many comments that were like, what a great thing. This is so awesome. Yet if you ask like 70% of those people to pay an extra $2 a year in taxes for it, they'll be like, no.
Look, let me tell y'all heard it here first, because if you think you're not about to be paying more, that $2 more, look, school vouchers are now going out to several thousand kids. I think we calculated it. It's about $111 million that will go to private schools instead of public schools out of our tax dollars. So if you think that your property taxes are not going to be increased to make up for that, look, call Brianne Davis. That's all I can say.
Whoa, name dropping on the show. Listen. Okay. So yeah, that's pretty much all I had to talk about.
Look, I want to show off my no dress code.
No dress code boutique.
Boutique. I can't say it right. Boutique. My boutique. No dress code boutique. Look, they made me this shirt. It was I saw it like on Temu or something, and I sent a screenshot, and I was like, "Can you make me this locally?" Anyways, my shirt says "locally hated."
See, like you saw something online that was not made locally by a small business, and you were like, I know somebody that can do that here. And instead of paying $7 for a crappy t-shirt, you didn't pay as little as $7, but you got a good price on a locally made thing.
That's right.
You helped buy breakfast for me. My wife owns the company.
I take that shit back right. I need a return. Amanda, what's the return policy? I didn't know I was buying Nathan breakfast. I'm out now. I don't.
No, like I'm just saying, I don't get any money from the boutique. Like I have, like they just started, so like we're spending money right now. So
I love it. It's amazing. Check them out. Check out Plant Parlor.
Plant Parlor, Dog Ear Books, and Retro Roast. Always great to support the show. The Golden Ass. Did we give that out this week to someone?
Russellville School Board.
Okay.
Congratulations. You are the golden asses of the week. All of you. Asses, all of you. You know, like that meme where Jesus is like, disappointments, all of you. That's where I'm like, asses, all of you. All right, now that I'm going to hell, let's shut this down.
Yes, all right. Thank you guys so much for watching our show. We're going to try to stream this also on the Clock app from time to time. And we will see you guys next week. Thanks.
Oh, God.